Maybe the only thing I remember is you know what I remember it's like 舉頭望明月，低頭思故鄉。李白。You see, I already know half of it.
啊，李白。
That's 李白. Oh, she got it wrong. Ladies and gentlemen,
that's embarrassing.
She has higher marks than me in school, and she got that wrong. See,
the most coincidental thing that can happen.
You know, same elementary school.
Even now, when we're in America, we're aliens.
Still aliens. I came here, I'm like, where is my wings? Like,
sizzle on my tongue.
Hopefully, this is a platform that makes people feel safe.
I completely almost forgot. All right, guys, welcome to our podcast. It's the Outcasts the Podcast. Yeah, we are Outcasts from the 853 as in Macau, and we are here. We are here to talk about
our Chinese literature, our relationship with Chinese literature.
There you go, guys. There you go.
It's complicated, guys.
I don't know if you guys follow us on Instagram, and if you don't, but we do put out a hashtag translation of the day every day. It will be like a simple sentence in Chinese, Cantonese. And yeah, we will put the sound of how it sounds like to us, like in English, then like also the official way to say it, you know, the Jiuping or whatever. But it's like, you know, if you don't know how to read that, we have also English letters. And below that, if you would see, it's the typing of
Chokseng.
It's called Chokseng. And if you can see, it's like 2 on each letter. You know what? What I'm trying to say is that this episode is about that. We're going to talk kind of about, like, generally about the stuff we learn in school, like Chinese. Yeah, because that's what we learn.
And we're going to start with typing. Like, you know, like if for English, obviously, like it's very straightforward. If you look at a keyboard, everyone right here, you know, it's like, if you want to spell cow, C-O-W, cow, right? Like it's very straightforward. But Chinese, as you know, like Chinese words, Chinese phrases, they don't write words with how it's spelled out and how it sounds, right? You have to memorize each sound of each word. And
yes, and it gets really complicated. Obviously, like we did have a lot of years of experience of it. The history of these characters, actually, like a lot of them are shapes of what they are, you know, like how wood, you know, kind of looks like a tree or whatever, and it's like, oh yeah, a forest is
and a person
3 of the woods
looks like a person,
yeah, like walking and the bow sow and stuff, you know, like, you know,
what's
oh my god, so each letter, okay, so each word from the Chinese is made by either, I don't know, like a combination of few letters, like characters. And each character,
like it's a word is divided into several parts. That what you're trying to say, right?
Like within the word, within the words, there's the letters, and within the letters, there are also like different parts, and these parts are like it tells you what kind of like element these letters are. You know what I'm trying to say here? Like,
I think so.
for example, swimming pool. If you see the bow sao, it's three dots, and that 3 dots, it means water. It's like the simplified
right.
and water.
When it comes to anything that comes with like water or river, anything with water, and you see these 3 dots, then in a character, then you'll know it means something related to water when you see these 3 dots.
Exactly. And so like when it's paired up with the other side, it's either like top or bottom or like side to side. Like example that I did, the forest, it's like wood the word wood is like
Right.
you
Some
write
is
it
literally
three.
made
Yeah,
of
it's
five
five.
five
Yes,
wood.
5 woods.
So
that's a lot of
3
wood.
on the first one and then 2 on the second one.
And that is
Yeah.
like, all right, there's a lot of trees. We get it. It's a forest. That's
Yeah.
so, yeah. And there's also a huge history about it, like how those main parts of those characters, it actually like it was drawn by, cavemen because that's how they communicate before. It's like
Ancient times and it's
exactly.
basically like an artwork. Each word is an artwork. Like there's always, if you go down to the history of its origin of how it's written, you'll see that it looks like the actual object.
Yes, exactly.
Which is, I think it's pretty cool. I always wish I knew these kind of like drawings before, because then it would be easier to memorize these words. During elementary school, it would be easier to understand where it comes from, so that
Yes, and that's why, like, and especially chemistry, it's so easy for chemistry, like compared to English, because English you get like long ass words you have to remember, like memorize, but like the words in Chinese have the element in it. Like you like gas is all like has the hey, like like hey, young, hey, like it's all, so those are gas, much like form. Like I just meant the chart, like the chart is so easy to remember because it's like, oh, I know this has something to do with gold because there's the gold side, like the mother south, the bow south. I don't even know how to call it in English.
There's the word gold itself being part of a bigger word, which means the element in chemistry. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. And
Dude, I don't. Yeah, you went through like science with Chinese, and I'm like, oh shoot, I can't.
Oh yeah, because you left like middle school.
Middle
right?
school, yeah.
Went to an English speaking school, right? But you still had Chinese though, no? Or no?
I had Chinese, but everything was taught in English, and then we had Chinese lessons, which was just Chinese. Dude, the Chinese, I mean, there's like, because it's an English school, there was easy Chinese and difficult Chinese, and I was in a difficult Chinese because I grew up going into Chinese school.
I bet they look at you like, why is this foreigner here?
But I barely passed, because I was like, this is not for me, and I don't want it.
It's so hard. Oh my god, you have no idea. Like, it's hard to pass.
Yeah.
So, kudos
so you were saying about these different parts of a word, and basically these different parts of a word will dictate how you type out the word in any kind of device, right? Like in computer, it's gonna dictate. For example, A stands for, I don't know, yat, the sun, and then C stands for gold, right? So for each letter in the keyboard stands for something,
one like
some
main part of a word letter. Yeah, it's like
exactly, and then shape. So it's kind of like for each word we have to type out the right puzzles to make the word.
Yeah, we had a sheet that we had to memorize, like all the parts of the word, like which letter you can type that out. And in my opinion, the easiest one is chokseng, because you only have to remember the first and the last shape, shape that represents it. And there's another way called chonky, which is like, if you know it, you type very fast. It's like, it's crazy because if you know all, like with chunky is you have to know 5 of the shapes. Like you gotta like type it all
you have
out.
to basically break down the words usually into maximum 5 parts, and then you kind of type it out. For example, the word me, that would be HQI in a keyboard. But for some words, it's gonna have like 5 different, depending on how complicated the word is, it would have 5 different parts, right? And then you have to type it out.
Exactly. But the word usually comes out already because there's not much choice. Like there's so much more combination. So it's like the word that you want is gonna be there. Like instead of
the
like
prompts will come up.
Yeah, because chokseng you have to browse the word. Like you gotta look through some other letters, because like there's a lot of words that is like first and last is the same. There. That's fine. So
it's like when I remember when we were younger, like we would be taught, I think, both of them, and I remember it was like cooler to know the complicated one, Chongkit. You remember? I don't know if you remember that, but like there's like, because that was the more difficult one.
And Chongkit is
Yeah.
really way faster. Like if your goal was to type Chinese words, like I don't know if you're secretary or whatever, like that's like the fastest way. Man, I remember my computer class, we had to know Chongkit. Like we had to type out this whole sheet, like, and they will test your
Yeah.
speed. Like they will be like, you can do it
Yeah.
again and again, but it's like your fastest one is your fastest one.
Yeah, and you know, for English typing, it's like you just type the words you see, right? You just type the words you see, and then to basically see how fast you can type. But for Chinese, you see the word and you have to kind of like
Build it.
Yeah,
Yeah, like a Lego in your head, right?
No,
like
you have to break it down and then build it up again because you have to know how to type it.
Yeah.
And that goes for each word in Chinese. Each, like every single word is a puzzle.
Exactly. And if you're confused by now, it's normal. You know, it's fine.
I didn't really think about it like about this so much, but like that's crazy. We learned all that and we still kind of know how to type them, right? It's like, good job.
Yeah, I know. Like nowadays, actually, they don't really require much of the typing, chokseng and chunky in school. Yeah, because you can actually just type it out by saying the words on your phone, or like there's the Sao Seban, like where they would always just go, oh, just use Sao Seban, and it's like the hardest thing ever, actually, because my Chinese character, my writing is horrible, so every time it's a debate with this freaking type that it's like I wrote this.
It's not just how nice it looks, but it's also the order of the strokes that you write. If you write it in the wrong order, then the computer won't know
read
what
it.
your
Yes.
word is.
Oh my god, that's another thing. But like the order of the words, like you get criticized about that, you know, in school. Like if they look at you and you write like this, okay, for example, yat, like the sun, right? Like you gotta do the and then
Hi, Sue.
they will laugh at you. They will be like, "Why are you drawing that? Are you not drawing?
No, it's because
you're writing."
I mean, when I think about it now, it's like, okay, it makes sense because when you spell sun, you're not gonna write SNU. You know, you're gonna go SUN, and I guess for them it's the same concept, right? Like, there's a correct way, and
for sure.
I mean, even though the outcome is the same for English,
it is
Chinese,
better to write it that way. Like, you know, like better.
There must be a reason. I don't know the reason, but
must have order. Must have reason.
Okay, so for us to be able to type these words out, we need to know how these words are written, and the way we were taught as kids is basically just repetition. Like each word, maybe like by the time you're high school, you would know. That's what I think I heard. By the time you're high school, you would know like 2,000 words in heart, and that's because when you're first grade, second grade, like they give you this homework and like maybe 3 words, and you have to write the first word for the whole page, just repeating it, and then the proportion has to be correct. And it has to be in the center, and sometimes the teachers can see your orders because based on your strokes somehow they can see it. I don't know, but then they would circle whichever is wrong even though they're all the same word.
Dude, school in America is so different. Like, I mean, like not only America, I feel like places with good education, right? It's like they don't ask you to repeat like words again and again and again. Like that's insane. Like it's a little insane because it's like I repeated so many of those words. I still don't remember. Maybe the only thing I remember is you know what I remember. It's like 舉頭望明月，低頭思故鄉。李白。You see, I only know half of it.
李白.
That's 李白. Oh, he got it wrong. Ladies and gentlemen,
that's embarrassing.
She has higher marks than me in school, and she got that wrong. See, it's like this repetitive thing does not work.
All right, I mean, it doesn't work when you stop using it.
That's true too. Like,
I mean,
trying
in
to
the
make these
sense, like,
translations of the day is kind of hard because it's like trying to scoop out some of it's like, I learned like
like it's there. You just kind of have to
it's
like dig in
there.
and find.
I knew that good night was a little tricky, like, because I'm gonna do good night the next one because today is good evening, ngon, right? And then man ngon, but there's also Joe Tao is like you say it before sleeping, like
Zhou
man
Tao is
ngon.
a less formal version. You don't
Mm.
write Zhou Tao in written. That's the thing, right? There's like verbal language and there's also written language, and I guess that's similar to English maybe. But Zhou Tao is a verbal thing you say, and man on is something you type.
Oh yeah,
Or
guys,
yeah.
these stuff's so hard to like explain. Like you just learn along the way, but it's like, yeah, like speaking and writing is the two different Chinese. Yi go, like it's like number two is yi, but then there's also learn. So it's like okay,
Oh yeah.
learn go. Like counting wise is
Yeah.
learn go, but when you're like counting up, I don't know the numbers. It's just
Yi. Some say.
but you don't say 我想要二個產. No, you say 兩個. Like, I think even when you write it, you say 兩. You have to write 兩, but that's just a weird word too. Number two. Like, why do they have to do that to number two? Like I remember one of our classmates, like he would always joke around and he'd be like, yeah, 二兩三四. What? So like you say, you write that out. But when you say thank you, when you say it, it's 唔該 or 多謝. There's also the translation of the day you can see. So the translation of the day, we use the speaking ones because obviously, why are we gonna teach you the written ones if you're not gonna be writing these stuff? You're gonna be saying these stuff. Okay, that's why it's the informal Chinese. Like, informal meaning, is the spoken one. Which I get it. Like there's like always
kind of like
with any type of
slang.
like language. Slang,
Kind
yeah.
of like slang.
Yeah, like how slang, you don't write this out in like composition, but like if you want more, you say toti, the D, like toti, but you don't write D in the composition, that's
I don't even think there's a Chinese word for it.
I think it's kotekji, and then I think it's something GP, and I forgot what, but it's like that's a T.
Oh, how?
Yeah, how DBM, and but obviously when you type it out, people are gonna type D as in the letter D.
That's true, I guess.
But yeah, like there's just like so many other stuff.
And so like these, because we learn these things through like repetition, right? And so even like if you look at like the education system, like they value memorization. If you're good at memory, then you usually do the best in class. And that was my experience, like
grade wise,
like it's not so much about your creativity or constructive thinking, it's your how well you can memorize things. And that was my experience as well, like being a tutor, like before I came to America, like the amount of pressure they put on these kids to memorize like paragraphs of English and like how to spell each word, like.
And the ironic thing is that they don't teach them oral skills, like actual like presentation, like speaking. They don't have classes for that, and they have like speech classes here in America if like kids don't talk a lot, like if they don't like have like I don't know if you have a speech impediment or something like that. Like if you have like a little like difference in speaking, they will put you in a speech class. Okay. And in Macau, you don't have that. It's like if you get by, and they don't really test you on like how you speak. Like they don't have presentations for English class. Not a lot. And then if there is, it's a group presentation and they will always try to be my friend. Because they're like, oh, you know how to.
How do you call those free riders? Is that what they're called? Free riders? Or like people who just like are in a group with you because they know you'll do everything and you can do everything. And
but it's okay. It's teamwork because when it comes to math or Chinese or some type of science stuff, I'm over there asking them for help. So it's like it's fine. It's good. Like I love that I have English by my
using
side.
each other.
Yes, exactly. That's how you get through life, by working with others. Yes. Yes.
You make it sound good.
It was like, that's how you pass the grades. Other people's notes. Okay. Especially when you can't really write notes like me.
You know, what's the most ridiculous thing like ever in my student years
What?
is when I was in like, in terms of like memorizing like these Chinese poems and Chinese literature, the the most ridiculous thing is our professor, like, we'd be ready for dictation, and our professor would come in. He'd be like, okay, you're gonna start dictating from the third comma until the 10th full stop. From the third comma, so you have to go through the whole like paragraph, and then like if you have the wrong punctuation, then the whole thing is a mistake because you memorize it wrong.
Oh
So
my God.
you have to go through the whole like paragraph and then find out where the third comma is, start dictating from there the Chinese words, and then stop at the 10th full stop.
It's like a game.
That's your dictation of the day. Yeah, it is. It's
Like
like,
a
oh
game
my
to them.
God. Like, is this really important for my life right now? Is it really gonna benefit me in the future? No.
Right? No, exactly. Not at all. And that's why, like, I don't even remember those teachers' names. And like, no offense, but
Actually, I also can't remember his name.
because they're not. Yeah, because you didn't learn it. They just read out a book or something. Like you can tell like they don't have the heart. And yeah, you can feel that. And man, that's why my English how to say score is not even the highest like in class, because oral exams are always the lowest percentage, and it's like that's the best part for me, obviously. But then like remembering grammar
they don't
like
value it.
grammar is like the least
past
important
participle.
Oh my
God,
what's
past
unless you're like
participle
into journalism or whatever, like grammar is not gonna take you anywhere, especially now the TikTok thing. No, grammar is not a thing. Like,
dude, even English,
grammar
oh my God,
is the least of your concern.
Like, I had to. We were given like two different sentences. Like, oh, she had been something like taking a shower then, and then she took the apple. Which one happened first? So like we have to know the exact timeline based on these grammatical like sentences. And I'm like, come on, I don't even use these had been. I don't even use this in normal like daily communication. Maybe like once in a blue moon, but I don't use it.
My God, you're right. So much time wasted. Yeah, we survived. That's why I kept sleeping in class, because I know that it's no benefit to my future. Like, only my marks at that time. And it's like I only consume as much as I needed to, because it's like that's how bare minimum I am. That's how I am. But yeah, like
I mean, it's like it's almost like you're pushed to do that because, like for example, we grew up without Chinese parents, so no one could help us with our homeworks, especially as the older like daughter, you and like my older sister too, like nobody could help you unless you had money to pay for tuition, which at the time we weren't, financially capable of like getting like private tutor or whatever.
Yeah, tutor is expensive. But it's like,
you're right. And so you had to figure it out yourself, and you have to know how to at least pass it so you don't fail the grade.
Yeah, I think I had a tutor like in school once, like those in-school tutors, and it helped me a lot. Like, and honestly, like after that, I just I just had to ask, people for help, because like, man, I mean, like, there's a lot of things that you can't, know unless you ask. And I never asked the teacher because I don't know what to ask first off, so it's like I gotta ask like my classmates, because I have to see from their point of view, because that's the thing, like these teachers, they're speaking to people like in the locals' point of view, and there's times where I was like, don't get it, but hey, you'll learn. But and that's why, like, I feel like if I don't use the Chinese, like if I don't use the language, I would not have succeeded. And that's why like me forced to ask these people like for help is actually a good thing, because I feel like even if I like pass all those grades, I wouldn't be able to speak Chinese in like a way where they ask, oh my God, you have no accent, like, because a lot of people learn English for so long and they still can't speak like a full sentence. So
Yeah, I mean, learning any language in class is just inefficient. You have to go to the country or like have friends that speak the language, then you learn it.
you have to struggle
even-
with it. Yeah, you gotta like
and
really
even
put yourself out there.
because even here, people learn like 5 years of Spanish and they can only say "I like chicken." So
Yeah, no, yeah, I need to learn some Spanish. Like at least if I don't know Tagalog, I just at least know Spanish. Because especially here
Yeah.
in South Florida. But yeah,
it felt like we were ranting the whole episode. But I
Yeah,
guess
this whole-
we had the
yeah.
right.
we have the right. Okay, we had to learn all that Chinese, and now we live in America, where it's like we barely even speak the Canto now. Like,
And
oh my
Cantonese isn't even that important as Mandarin. Like,
yeah, and it's like
Mandarin
Mandarin
is
is the
way
one
more
that got
important.
popular. Like, what the hell? Like, we learned the wrong Chinese. Like, oh my God.
just
All right. So yeah. By the
Well,
way,
we hope
if
you learned
anyone wants
something.
to like, just look at all those translation posts, like all in one, you just search the hashtag translation. No, it's translations 853.
Nice.
So it's like, yeah, so it's all
Hashtag.
that.
But yes, we hope you learn
Yeah.
something. If you always intended to learn Chinese, please don't be discouraged by this podcast because Mandarin is a very useful language, and if you ever want to visit China, like it's a beautiful language because each word has its history. But it was just
And you can
experience.
almost meet like a Chinese person everywhere in the world. So it's like,
That's true.
and they always usually speak Mandarin. So.
Yeah. So this was just our experience learning and then the difficulty, and obviously we don't regret it. I actually wish I remember more of my Chinese, and
I know I remember more like once I speak like a whole
yeah.
day
Mhm.
in Cantonese. I feel like I will.
Yeah, once we go back, like it will start coming up.
Yeah. It's there's also that saying where like, people have a different personality when you speak that certain language.
The different language. Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like when I'm
and also your brain
Cantonese,
works differently.
Yeah, I'm a different type of I feel like a different person. And it's like I gotta be with those people like to feel that type of way. I feel like, so I gotta go back home. Gotta get back home. But yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for watching.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.